Welcome to Geek Vs. Geek, where two nerds fight to the death over all things technological. Okay, maybe not exactly to the death, but the way these guys fight, there may actually be bloodshed at some point. So let's meet our geek gladiators who'll be duking it out today. Dave Johnson is Editorial Director of eHow's Tech Channel. He's written about 36 books on technology and photography. Rick Broida writes for business and consumer technology for CNET, PC World, and Wired. His CNET blog, The Cheapskate, attracts nearly 1 million readers every month. Together, these guys write eHow Tech's Geek Vs. Geek, and today, we're gonna do that face-to-face and in person. So let's get started. Our first segment before we get to the main event, the Battle Royale, is our segment Worth It, where we check in with a gadget that has been getting a lot of buzz, but not sure if it's worth it. So let's talk about the Google Chromebook. Is it worth it?
Yes, absolutely. So what the Chromebook is it's a $250 laptop, full-featured laptop. It's got, keyboard, screen, all that sort of good stuff, a trackpad, but it runs the Chrome operating system. It's not running Windows. It's not running the Mac OS or Linux or anything like that. So you get a browser window. You can do all the normal stuff that people would typically want to do without the added complexity of a full-featured laptop.
Right, and by the same token, that's all you're getting is the Chrome OS, which by most definition is fairly limited in what you can do. Email, web browsing, just very basic stuff.
It's great for like your mom.
Yeah.
What else does your mom need to do? She's going to play solitaire. She's going to surf the web. She's going to look at Facebook and maybe like write a letter, right? Something like that.
First of all, leave my mom out of it. Second, for $240, I'm about all things cheap. Okay, I like the fact that this is a $250 laptop, but for as little as $50 more, you can get yourself a full-blown Windows-powered, does everything laptop with lots of storage and with extra memory and the whole nine yards. So why limit yourself just for saving $50?
So you're telling me for $50 more, I get the privilege of the complexity of Windows, of error messages, of Windows updates, of viruses, and 3 o'clock phone calls from my mom saying, "What does this error message mean?"
You may need to have a conversation with your mom because that's not right.
All right, I think we figured out we're not sure if it's worth it. Dave says yes, it's worth it. Rick says no. Who won the argument? What do you guys think? Let us know on Twitter, Facebook, or email. Today we're talking about 3D printing. Is it revolutionary or a big yawn? Rick, what do you think?
I think 3D printing is the next big thing. It's the coolest thing ever. For those unfamiliar with 3D printing, it's like a regular old printer, but with an extra D. In other words, you can create physical objects from nothing. Imagine a metal box about yay big that's in your home that you can create a cup or a spoon or a Lego brick or just about anything that you want, and you don't have to send away for it. You don't have to go to a store and buy it. You just print whatever you want. Awesome.
I agree with you in principle because I do think it is a revolutionary technology, but 5 years is just too soon. You're saying that we already know the state of 3D printers today, and they are really hard to use. They're for hobbyists, and somehow this technology that's existed since the 1980s is going to dramatically improve enough in the next 5 years that we'll all be living on starships printing soup bowls. The problem is what you can actually print. I can't print a bicycle, I can't print a car or a life-size replica of a sperm whale. I can print something that's about the size of my hand.
I think we're going to gloss over the fact that he just said sperm whale.
Process the life-size replica of the sperm whale.
Okay, but could I print like a toothbrush?
You can print the stem of the toothbrush, and the bristles you have to add yourself. So now you have to manufacture your own toothbrush, and might I add, most, not all, but most 3D printers don't use food-safe plastic.
No,
so your toothbrush is literally made of poison.
But that's something that could be remedied within the next 5 years.
Yes, in
definitely.
fact, I believe there is a product on Kickstarter right now called the Buccaneer, which has already solved that problem. So in between us having this conversation, problem solved. That's easy.
So how much do they cost right now, and are they worth getting them right now?
The lowest cost of entry right now, I think, is about $400. Maybe 2 years ago, you could get one for $2,000. Okay, that's how quickly they have started to become affordable. So
sure, you can spend $400 or $500 on a printer, and you have to contend with all of the hassles that come with it. For example, making sure that the plastic is just the right temperature for it to melt and stick together. My mom is going to love that. It's like MS-DOS all over again. No, 10 years at a minimum, 15, 20 years from now, we'll be at a place where anybody can do these things.
5 years.
That was a really good discussion. I think I'm ready to declare a winner. Rick, I think you won this one. Yay, Rick. Congratulations. You've won absolutely nothing except for bragging rights. Maybe you get to go neener, neener today for like 5 minutes. What do you guys think? Do you think Rick won the argument today? Do you think 3D printers are worth it? Do you think they're going to change our lives in 5 years? Let us know on Twitter, Facebook, or email. Now it's time for our Desert Island Tech segment where Rick and Dave share their one essential piece of gear that they cannot live without this week. Rick, do you want to start?
Absolutely. The one thing I'd like to have with me is a travel charger. And the one in particular that I really like is called the Peak MyCharge 6000. A couple things about it that I really love. For one, it plugs directly into an electrical outlet. So it recharges just by plugging in. You don't need a special cable, and you don't need to plug it into a USB port to recharge it. And it has built-in voice capability, so it will actually let you know if it's charged, if it's 50% charged, 75% charged. It'll say, charging is complete, and then you can unplug it.
It's the Siri of chargers.
Exactly.
It'll be like,
and
hello.
it will even do it in different languages. You can choose like 4 different languages, so you can do like Italian. Most chargers, you have to have this assembly of cords and tips and everything to make it compatible with your device, but the MyCharge 6000 has built-in cables for Apple 30-pin devices, so most iPhones and iPads and iPods and so forth, and it has a built-in micro USB connector, and they're just on arms that kind of flip out from it, so you don't have to worry about all these extra accessories that normally go with a travel charger. It's just little conveniences, but they add up to a lot, and I love this thing. It's my favorite travel charger.
Does it have just a regular USB input, so I can take a USB cable and insert it?
Why, yes, Dave, it does. Why do you ask?
Well, because then I can use your charger for my Desert Island Tech, which is my Pebble smartwatch, which is my favorite gadget these days. We all know about smartwatches, right? They tell you the time, they get information from your phone, so I can see when I get a text message, I can see when I get an email. If I'm going for a run around the island, I don't have to take the phone out of my pocket and see what Runkeeper is telling me about how many miles I'm running or what my pace is, because my watch shows my pace, and it even gives me music controls here, so whatever music I'm listening to, I can control from the watch.
And it looks pretty snazzy on your arm there,
It really
Dave.
does. Look at that. It's stylish.
Style-ish.
Well, that about does it for us here at Geek Vs. Geek. Thanks so much for watching. What do you guys think of the show? We want to hear from you. Let us know on Facebook, Twitter, or email, and we'll see you next time on Geek Vs. Geek.